out there in YouTube land, Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's go right into this review and see what I saw. So welcome to an all-new review there out there in YouTube land. And all these subsequent places, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all out there that love watching reviews, and those who love it. I don't know. Anyways, so the movie I'll be talking about today is a movie that came out at the end of July. I'm just getting around finally to doing the review for this film, and this is an awesome, amazing, very well done, very, well concepted. It has a lot of great depth to it. It was an interesting take on an alternate universe of an actual true tragedy. And it just was really well made and just really intricately made as well. Now, the movie I'm talking about happens to be an awesome film called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh, yeah. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is loosely based on the real story of the Manson family murders that happened back in the late 60s. And so basically this story was taking, basically if an alternate timeline had happened in this whole scenario that actually happened in real life. And I thought that was a really great concept. I thought it was really inventive. I thought it was a really great idea of showing this, unfortunate tragedy, what it could have been if something better had happened as well. And I love how they, really took that and made that into this type of film. Now, this film, has lots of great actors, actresses, and stuff like that involved. It's about basically, it has, talks about Sharon Tate and all the people she knew. It talks about Bruce Lee a little bit in the film and so forth and stuff like that. Now, this movie is directed none other by an awesome director. I absolutely love this guy. I think he's amazing. He's just a really great, director. He's got lots of great, philosophies to his filming. He has a lot of great ideas and all that kind of good stuff. Now, the director I'm talking about happens to be Mr., of course, Quentin Tarantino. Oh, yeah. So Quentin Tarantino, you recognize as, of course, the director of such films as, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastards, lots of great films. He, starred in From Dusk Till Dawn with George Clooney. He's had cameos in Desperado and so forth. And he's just a really great, director. I think he has a really amazing talent. I think he has a lot of great eccentricities that really come out into his films and give us these really, just amazing films that are so well crafted, so well done, and just beautifully edited, directed, and all that kind of cool stuff. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed that Quentin Tarantino has directed is none other than an awesome film that came out in 2007, and that was part of a thing called a Grindhouse feature. Now, this film was released at the same time along with another film that Robert Rodriguez directed called Planet Terror. Now, the film I'm talking about stars the awesome Kurt Russell, who I absolutely think is one of the greatest actors of all time. I've loved him since he did his Disney days and pretty much everything he's done in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and so forth. And that, of course, is a film called Death Proof. Oh, yeah. So Death Proof is an amazing film, really well crafted. It had a great vibe to it. It totally made me think of one of those retro 70s, like horror type of films. And it just was so beautifully created because it had all the depth of one of those films was. Quentin Tarantino did a great job of bringing to life, those past type of films. The CGI work, the editing, the colors, and all that stuff were just spot on for that type of film. And he just really directed it really well and gave us this really fantastic film that was really action-packed, a lot of great, kind of horror element to it, along with a thriller element, and just was really well-crafted. Really amazing film. If you have not seen Death Proof, people, check it out. It's worth the watch. Really great film, really fantastic, and just really well done. So that brings me to the second film that Quentin Tarantino directed that I really enjoy. Now, this film is one that is actually the previous film, his eighth film that he's directed, that I think was just one of his best to date besides the film I'm talking about now. Now, this film just had a great all-star cast. You had Sam Jackson, Kurt Russell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Channing Tatum was in it. It was just a really amazing cast and just really well crafted. I mean, you got these all-stars that are, in this film and just give the, some of the greatest performances I've seen in film and just made this movie even better and better than it was. And just, it was a really amazing film. And that, of course, is the film called The Hateful Eight. Oh, yeah. This movie is beyond amazing because you really have no clue what's going on through this whole entire film until you get to the end. And the action sequences, the special effects, all those things encompassed in this film just did an amazing job of being put together by Quentin. And he edited it and wrote it so well and gave us this really great story, a really interesting story, and also a very thoughtful thinking type of story. And I thought that was a really great job and just a really fantastic job as well. And just gave this really intricate film that you're not just going in to see the action. There's actually a lot of great story behind it, and that's what made this film so great too as well. Beautiful job directing by Quentin Tarantino in this film. He made a really amazing film. If you have not seen The Hateful Eight yet, definitely check it out, people. It's worth a watch. Amazing fun and really well done. Now, when it comes to directing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino once again brought guns blazing. This actually, I feel, is one of his most professional films that he's directed to date. I feel that he really kind of followed the Hollywood mantra with this film and his directing style this time. I mean, he really gave it a lot of different types of views, a lot of different type of editing. He gave it a lot of different writing skills to this film. And he just really, like I said, brought us this really great alternative story to such a really horrible, story that happened in real life back in the late 60s. And he just gave us this whole kind of like, oh, what if this happened? Too bad this didn't happen, etc., etc. And he just did a really great job of bringing that to life and gave us this really amazing film with a bunch of actors, too. I mean, the powerhouse actors that was in this film was so tremendous and so amazing. And just Quentin did a really fantastic job making this film. Really enjoyed it, thought he did a really great job, and looking forward to hopefully more from him, even though his next film might be his last. So this movie has an all-star cast, and it's an amazing cast. Really well thought out actors and actresses that got, involved with this film that did really amazing performances, gave us their all, gave us these great interpretations of what these people would be in that setting, and just a really great acting job by all involved. Now, to start off this awesome cast, we have none other than Mr. Titanic himself, Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh yeah, absolutely love this guy. He's been in so many great films over the years. He was in Blood Diamond, he was in Titanic, he was in Critters 3, he was in Basketball Diaries. I mean, he has been in a ton of films over the last, 20 plus years. And he's just a really fun actor to watch, too. He has a lot of great chemistry when he's in his films. He has a great sense of humor and just a really great acting prowess about himself. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed Leonardo DiCaprio in are such films as a great Steven Spielberg film that came out in 2002, I believe, and is also a Tom Hanks film, too. And this film is actually based on a true story about this criminal guy that basically escaped, being caught from, 20 plus years before actually getting caught by the Tom Hanks character that's in the film. And that, of course, is a film called Catch Me If You Can. Oh, yeah. Absolutely love this film. I think it's one of DiCaprio's best films. I think he was so fantastic in it. His persona of this character, of this real gentleman, was really well done. I thought he really brought to life what this man went through, what he did, and just kind of like what his relationship was with Tom Hanks' character in the film. And just their acting ability together was just really well conceived and really just brought out very well by Steven. And I thought it was just a really fantastic film. Really enjoyed Leonardo DiCaprio in it. I thought he was really fun. Like I said, I thought that he did a great job given this, what, who this person was, what he did, and, what happened to him. And just, I thought that he brought to life everything that he did in this film and gave us a great performance. Really amazing film. If you have not seen Catch Me If You Can, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. Really amazing film. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up on that guy. So that brings me to the second film Leonardo DiCaprio was in that I really enjoyed. Now, this film came out also in the early 2000s and was a kind of a historical film because it's supposed to take place back in the late 1800s in New York City. And Leonardo DiCaprio plays this interesting character that's, a son of a Irish immigrant. And you had Daniel Day-Lewis in it, Cameron Diaz, a huge cast of great actors, that really brought to life this film. And that, of course, the film called The Gangs of New York. Oh, yeah. Oh, this movie is so well mastered and so well conceived. A great Martin Scorsese film. This film should have won an Oscar. This movie was so well done because it really showed what life was like back in the late 1800s in New York before, it was kind of, established into the city it is today. And it really, they did a great, job of, like, the clothing and the look and just how people were and how it was in, bars and how it was on the streets and just what these people went through. And I thought that it, was a beautiful story that really showed us, how much life has changed. And Leonardo DiCaprio was just so awesome as that character and dealing with, Daniel Day-Lewis's character and falling in love with Cameron Diaz's character and his interactions with everyone else in the film, from Brendan Gleeson to Henry Thomas to, everyone that was involved in the film. And Martin Scorsese just did a really great job of giving us a very accurate look and giving us this great, film that he casted so beautifully and gave us this great, just film altogether. A really amazing film. If you like good bloody action, if you like good storyline, this film is for you, especially if you're a Martin Scorsese fan or a DiCaprio fan. This is the movie to see for him because he was so awesome in the film. Really well done film and really great performance by Leonardo DiCaprio in it. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Gangs in New York. Amazing film. Now, it comes to his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was on point. I mean, he did an amazing job portraying the character portrayed. His whole performance in the whole film was so on point, too, as well. And so accurate for, somebody, an actor at that time frame that, was going through a rough patch. He did a fantastic job of portraying that very well. And at the same time, he had some great powerhouse moments throughout the film. Especially the scene when he's in his trailer and he's yelling at himself in the mirror. Oh my gosh, he was so amazing in that part. And so stinking funny. It was an amazing scene. And it showed how, how great of an actor he is and how he deserves so many more Oscars than he has gotten, Especially because it took him so long to just get his first one for The Revenant. This guy is Oscar-winning performance every single time I see this guy. He is so good and so amazing. And just a really great actor all in all. And he did such a great performance in this film. Really enjoyed him and looking forward to more from him. Coming in second in this awesome roster of this film, we have none other than the other main co-star himself, Mr. Smith. Mr. Black, we've all known him more. Coming out soon in the film called Ad Astra, Mr. Brad Pitt. Oh yeah! Absolutely love Brad Pitt. This guy is ageless. He's just like Fred Ward. He does not age at all. He looks exactly the same he did when he first started out back in the 80s. early 90s. This guy is just amazing. Every performance he does too as well, just like DiCaprio, he's always 100% into making his role, making a really great role, and just is an amazing actor. So a couple films I really enjoyed him, and of course is the very first one I'm going to talk about, is of course an awesome movie that came out in 1999 with Mr. Edward Norton. The great film Fight Club! Oh yeah! So Fight Club, if you haven't seen it already, is an awesome film directed by David Fincher, who basically is about a guy that has almost like split personalities, and basically that split personality comes to life and causes him to create this thing called Fight Club. And Brad Pitt plays the actual like aberration or the other split personality of Edward Norton's character, if you didn't already know that. If you haven't seen it already, it's been 20 years since it came out. Sorry, spoilers. But anyways, this is a great film, and Brad Pitt brought it every single second to this film. Him and Edward Norton's dynamics in this film were so perfect, so well created, and just really a great partnership between them two, and just a great performance all in all. Every scene that Pitt was in, you were mesmerized by his performance, because as Tyler Durden, he really brought to life that character, who he was and what he did. And I just thought it was a really, amazing performance, and just a really great role for him in a great movie. Just a really well done performance all in all, and just a great, all around perfect performance as well in this film. He did a great job, and he was really fun to watch in it. If you haven't seen Fight Club, definitely check out, people. It's worth the watch. So that brings me to the second film that Mr. Brad Pitt was in that I really enjoyed. Now, this awesome film stars Kevin Spacey and the great Morgan Freeman. Now, this movie came out in the late 90s and is a psychological thriller film that I feel is probably one of the best for its time. Kevin Spacey's performance in the film is probably one of the best of his career, I feel. And just really is one of those ones that you're just like, wow, he is so good that you really believe he is this psychotic guy character. And he just did a really fantastic job. But Brad Pitt's performance in it, I really enjoyed too as well, because I thought he played a great role, gave the character a lot of great performance to give you the real emotions he was feeling, and, what was going through his mind at portraying this, cop character. And I just thought that he did a really fantastic job, and it showed how early on how great of acting chops he had. And I just thought that he did really well with the film, and how he progressed throughout the film, and how his character developed. And I just thought he did a really good job of progressing that character and giving us a really fantastic performance. If you haven't seen Seven, oh my god, people, it's such a great movie. Definitely check it out, people. One of the best psychological thrillers from 1997. Just a really well-rounded film, and another one directed by David Fincher as well. Definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, people. See Brad Pitt's performance. He was really, fun and awesome in the film. Now, when it comes to Brad Pitt's performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really enjoyed this role. I think it's one of his best roles that he's done in recent years. I really thought that his character was so amazing and awesome. Just really well done. Great performance, great, writing, great, performance by Brad Pitt, bringing this character to life. I just thought his interaction and his performance along with Leonardo DiCaprio, they worked so well together and gave us this really great, you really felt like they were best friends, that they were these guys that had been working for 20 plus years together, and that he really was like his stuntman and so forth. And I just thought that he really brought to life this character, and he had some great scenes, especially the final scene of the film where he's basically supposed to be high throughout the whole situation. He was on point and gave us this great, awesome, what it would be like if a person really was, high on the drug he was supposed to be high on. And he did a fantastic job, portraying that and giving us this really accurate seeming, real, performance. It was just an amazing performance altogether throughout the whole film. And I thought it was one of my favorites of his of recent years. He was just so stinking good in it. If you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet, or any of Brad Pitt's films from the last 20 plus years, definitely check out, people. His performances are always perfection and always are fun to watch. Definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. So the next person I'll be talking about is an amazing actress that I feel, is probably one of the best Harley Quinns of our time. And it has been just a really fun, character and actress to watch grow up and, do some amazing films over the years. And just as, just a really fun type of person. And that, of course, is Miss Margot Robbie. Oh, yeah. So Margot Robbie, you might recognize, of course, from the film I, Tonya. You might recognize her from the Tarzan film that came out a couple years ago, and other films and so forth. But a couple films I really enjoyed her and thought she was fantastic in. It was none other than a great film that came out in 2016 and is finally getting a sequel in 2021, only 5 years after the first one came out. But I thought her performance in this film was so great. She really brought to life this character, to the big live action screen for us for the first time. And just, it was a really well-rounded film, I thought. I thought it was really beautifully directed. I thought it was a great DC film. And I thought that it should have gotten more credit for how fun of a film it was. And then, of course, the film called Suicide Squad. Oh, yeah! Suicide Squad, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, crocodile guys and stuff like that. All that kind of cool stuff. This is such an awesome film, and Margot Robbie was so perfect as Harley Quinn. She really brought to life who Harley Quinn was from the comic books. She gave us this great performance. She looked just like her. And she just did a really fantastic job in this film, and I really enjoyed her. I just thought that she really gave us kind of, a little bit of a different take on Harley Quinn too as well, by keeping pretty true to the story of her character from the comic books, at the same time giving a little other flair to it. And I thought that was a really great performance by her, and she gave us this really great first live action impression of this character that, a lot of us have been waiting many years to see on the big screen. And she just was really fun, really energetic, really, just perfect in this role. Looking forward to seeing her play the character again soon, and hopefully we'll get to see that Birds of Prey soon, too, because suppose it's coming out next year, and looking forward to it, to see Harley Quinn again, before we get Suicide Squad 2. That brings me to the second film that Miss Margot Robbie was in that I really enjoyed. Now, this film came out in 2018 and is a neo-noir thriller film that is actually the first film Mike Myers has been in over 10 years. Now, this film was interestingly done. I thought it was definitely a different type of film, had a great cast, and Margot Robbie was really interesting and at the same time kind of hated her and loved her in it at the same time. And that film, of course, is called Terminal. Oh yeah, Terminal. So Terminal, like I said, is a neo-noir thriller that came out in 2018. Has a huge cast: Simon Pegg, Mike Myers, Max Irons in it, and so forth. And it just was a really interesting film. And you kind of feel pity for Margot Robbie's character, but at the same time, you kind of hate her at the same time. And she just did a really great job of portraying the character she portrays in the film, because she kind of has this interesting kind of secret throughout the film that you don't know about. I don't want to give it away, but she actually plays interesting, way off of portraying this character and kind of how her outcome comes. And I thought she did a really great job of portraying that. And I thought she worked really well with Simon Pegg and Mike Myers and everyone that was involved. And she just gave us this really interesting performance. And I thought that it was a pretty decent performance out of the other performances I've seen her do in the recent years. And I just thought that she did a really great job. If you haven't seen Terminal, definitely check it out, people. The performance is worth the watch. And just the idea behind the movie is worth the watch as well. Now, it comes to her performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Her portrayal of Sharon Tate, I thought she did okay. I thought she was, decent, because I've seen Sharon Tate in her movies and stuff like that, and Margot Robbie had kind of the mannerisms down. She really didn't look like her, and she kind of played her ditzy too as well, because Sharon Tate herself really was an amazing and smart woman. And so I feel that was something probably Quentin Tarantino decided to do a little bit and, alter Sharon Tate's character a little bit. So at the same time, it's like, oh, okay, I get that, the creative idea behind that. But at the same time, though, it's like, this is a dead legend that, 100%, she needs to be given the greatest glory she can, because, unfortunately, the horrible way she passed. And I just thought Margot Robbie did an okay and mediocre job portraying the character, but still times she was pretty decent, and she still was a great addition to that film, and was not wasn't too bad, and it still was fun to watch. All in all, I would say a good 5 golden movie boxes up on her performance in this film, and definitely if you're a huge Margot Robbie fan, definitely check this out for her performance because, like I said, it was decent and not too shabby. So to round out this awesome cast, we have none other than an Academy Award winner who I think is an amazing actor. He's been in a lot of great films over the years. He's been in The Godfathers. He's been in such films as, Angel Heart and, stuff like that. I mean, just this guy is a great, actor. He was in 88 Minutes. He's been in a ton of films over the years. And just a really amazing, fun actor to watch because he always puts 110% into his performance and gives these great, just films, great acting jobs, and just gives us these great performances. And that, of course, is Mr. Al Pacino. Oh, yeah!
Oh, you looking at me?
Mr. Al Pacino. Oh, God, love this guy. I think he's great. Great performances always from all his films, Devil's Advocate, and so forth. Just a really fun guy to watch. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed Al Pacino in, and one of them, a lot of people would be like, really? You like his performance in that? And I'd be like, yes, I did. I thought it was fantastic. So to start off this awesome 2 movie films I really enjoyed Mr. Al Pacino in, none other is a great film that came out in 2002, and the late, great Robin Williams was in this film, along with Academy Award winner Miss Hilary Swank. And this film was actually directed by Mr. Christopher Nolan, of course, you all know as the director of Inception, the Dark Knight trilogy, and so forth. And that, of course, is the film called Insomnia. Oh, yeah. Absolutely love this film. This was such a great psychological thriller film. So well directed by Christopher Nolan. I think it's one of his best films he's directed. The whole idea behind this film, basically this dead girl's found. These people are brought in to try to figure out who killed her, what happened to her, and you got this evil bad guy that's very psychologically, brain-wise and, is like clever and stuff like that. And it's such a great film. And Robin Williams was so amazing as the bad guy in the film. And just everyone's performance in the film was fantastic. But Al Pacino was so amazing in this film. Portraying this detective guy who was dealing with personal turmoil himself, dealing with consequences of past, but at the same time not being able to sleep because of how Alaska's, its daylight saving times is over there during the winter season, and all this stuff, and just he did such an amazing performance, and having to deal with both these things and deal with this case, and just everything he did was so on point for this film, and just was a really great performance. Really enjoyed him, and I thought he was fantastic, really well done, and just a 10 Golden Movie Boxes performance. Really fantastic. If you haven't seen Insomnia, definitely check it out, especially if you're a Christopher Nolan fan, Al Pacino fan, Robin Williams fan, Hilary Swank fan. Definitely check out this film, people. This is one of the best of their career. It's such an amazing film. Really huge fan of it. Definitely check out, people. It's worth the watch. So that brings me to the second film Mr. Al Pacino was in. So this is the one that a lot of people will be like, really? You like this movie? I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. Me and my girlfriend laugh at it so hard every time I watch it. It's got some great scenes in it. It's just an amazing film. Now, this film came out in 2011 and stars the great Adam Sandler. And this, of course, is the film called Jack and Jill. Oh, yeah! Love this film. I think it's absolutely hilarious. I think this film is perfection, and Al Pacino was perfect in this film. I loved him. I loved how he played this over-exaggerated version of himself, and just what he brought to the table in this film. And his obsession with falling in love with Adam Sandler's twin sister was absolutely hilarious. And just how through the whole film he keeps calling Adam Sandler popcorn, popcorn, and how he keeps calling the character Popcorn throughout the whole film was super hilarious. And just a really fun film. Really well done, I thought. Great comedy timing throughout the whole film. It just was a really fun film. Had a lot of great one-liners, a lot of great moments. Some of the scenes were like, he's like crashing into things and like hurting himself and, where are and stuff like that, it just was so stinking funny to me, and we laughed so hard. Especially the scene where the sister character gets hit on the head by the giant wheel at Price is Right. Oh my god, that is so freaking hilarious. It's just a really great Adam Sandler classic. I think that should be enjoyed by all. It's exactly what it was, a comedy to be funny and just be hilarious. Nothing other than that, and that's what made this movie so great. And that's why Al Pacino's performance in the movie is so perfect for this film. Because you got this Academy Award winner in this film and giving us this really great comedic performance. And he really showed how great of a comedian he can be. And that's what's so great about this role of his. And I absolutely loved it. Great performance by Al Pacino. Definitely check out Jack and Jill for his performance because he is so priceless and awesome in this film. Really well done and a great performance by Al Pacino. When it comes to his character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he actually didn't have a huge part, but every time he popped up on the screen, he was pure perfection at the character portrayed. And his interaction with Leonardo DiCaprio and everyone that was involved in the scenes, he was just on point and funny. And I thought he did a really great job, really enjoyed him in the film, and I thought he was a great little additional actor to have in the film that just, took even the performances even higher and made the film even better. Really fun role that he portrayed in it, and really enjoyed Al Pacino in it. If you haven't seen, like I said, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood already, definitely go check it out in theaters now. Check out Al's performance. Check out all the awesome performances of the film. Just a really fun film. Really well done. And just great performance by Al Pacino. So if you're not familiar with what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is about, like I was saying earlier, this is basically kind of an alternate universe of what happened with the Manson murders that happened back in the late 60s. And basically the film, takes place during that time frame of these murders, and kind of an alternate universe of these two actors, basically, one being an actor and the other one being a stuntman that he's been with for 20 years, and kind of his storyline coexisting with the Manson murders, and kind of like how they interact and how they end up being a part of the Manson murders, and how they kind of alter what could have happened in those murders. And that's pretty much what the movie's about. It's a fantastic idea, a great idea, and just a really well-conceived film. Really well done. One of, I feel, Quentin Tarantino's best now. I absolutely came out of this film glowing, thinking it was just a fantastic film. It didn't feel like 2.5 hours like it was. I thought that the film seemed shorter than that. And I thought that they did a good job of keeping the great pace throughout the film. And there was a little bit of dead spots, but not too bad. And that kept it going and made it good. Really fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, like I said, go check it out, people. It's worth a watch for all the performances in the film. Great editing, great CGI. I mean, the spot-on perfection of everything looking like 1969 was perfect, too. I mean, everything in it was spot-on, the real stuff from the 1960s, and just looked so fantastic and was so amazing. Definitely check it out, especially if you're a big fan of, designing of the films and stuff like that. That's worth the watch too as well. Just an amazing film and really well crafted. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up on this guy, and definitely a must see, and I can't wait to add it to my collection when it comes out in October. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. And also, thank you for subscribing. If it's your first time here, if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, what you gotta do is create an alternate universe where you hit that subscribe button. Come on, people, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the awesome videos I put up. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might not have seen on you. And as always, people, check out the awesome Stardust app where you can watch 3 to 30 second little mini reviews of TV shows, trailers, movies, anything your heart desires, where there's also awesome new content always being added to it with awesome goodness where you can win prizes, you can do polls, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. So definitely check that out, people. It's a free app that you can get in the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store. And also, people, definitely check out the awesome horror pack where you can see awesome horror goodness every month right to your door for a great low price. So you can either get 4 DVDs or 4 Blu-rays for a great low price. So that's definitely something you should check out. If you're interested, I have a link down below you can hit, and it'll get you a discount on your first month too as well. As always, people, check out my awesome, like I was saying before, my Patreon. So for those that have, this is the first time viewing a video, I have a Patreon account that I just started where you can subscribe to be a patron and get actual extra cool goodness. And this is definitely something that, that you can get at any time, at any place, and you get some cool things with it. So for one thing, you get a shout out daily in any video or on any platform you like is one of the things that becoming a patron. Also, I'm going to be doing a T-shirt that you get for becoming a patron as well, a Cyberneticshark shirt. You'll also get to do, you could ask me to do a certain review on a certain movie for you and so forth and all that kind of good stuff. So that's something to interest you. Go ahead and check out my Patreon page. And it's definitely cool. I got to make sure I put the link down below so you can hit that so you can check that out too as well. And as always, people, catch you in the next one.